OMT. Today's program is brought to you by Albert's Plastering since 1952, leaders in the plastering industry. Bitter Newman Appliance TV and Furniture. Brown Building Center, your locally owned full-service building center on the Lake Shore. Carpets Plus of America. Citywide Insulation, providing installation services for your home. Check Electric, for all your electrical needs. Lakeland Landscape Service, for your residential and commercial landscape design and installation. Maritime Plumbing and Mechanical, offering 24-hour emergency plumbing service. Prestige Custom Cabinetry and Millwork, your style, your needs, your budget, our cabinetry. Smoky Barbier Heating, whatever it takes. And by Bartow Builders, building a tradition of quality and honesty that goes beyond measure. And now, your host and producer, Brandon Bartow. This is Welcome Home.
Good morning, and thank you for listening to Welcome Home. I am Brandon Bartow, your host. I look forward to offering you options and advice on new home construction and remodeling, as well as home maintenance during our weekly show. We encourage you to call in to our experts on the show today at 682-0351, but we encourage you to stick to today's topic relative to our guest. If we do not have the answer for you right at our fingertips, we will encourage you to call Bartow Builders, and we will get you that information. Our guest this morning is Jim Check from Check Electric. Jim, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Brandon. Good morning, Lakeshore.
All right, we're supposed to get all this snow, and now we're down to nothing. We were laughing off the air a little bit ago.
Yeah, I wonder if the wonderful rat saw his shadow this morning or not.
Yeah, right. Jim and I have had the pleasure of working together on numerous projects that Bartow Builders has done. And Jim, I know your business quite a bit. At least I like to think I do. I am not sure that our listening audience knows what services that you guys offer at Check Electric. So if you could just kind of share some of the different things that you guys do, I would appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. Check Electric's been around for a long time. We actually started back in 1962. My father started the business, and we developed it from there. We are a full-service electrical contractor. We not only take care of residential work, but we also take care of commercial and industrial applications and installations.
Okay, great. So, Jim, when you guys are working, just to make sure that I understand, obviously I know on my end that you work with contractors quite a bit. Do you guys work with the average homeowner? I mean, an average homeowner calls you up and asks you to come and change a light bulb or outlet. Do you guys do that stuff? Or?
Absolutely. That is a very strong part of our business. We pride ourselves on the fact that we take care of even the smallest projects.
Okay.
In fact, this morning I was on the telephone with actually two people that aren't even customers of ours, just answering questions that they had to put their minds at ease.
Okay.
Of situations that they had around their house. Or one gentleman is unfortunately caught in one of these buy-sell situations where he gets the inspection report, and the inspection report is overwhelming to him. And he has so many situations, and he just needed a peace of mind to know that, yes, we can take care of everything for you. Most of the stuff is really nothing at all, and everything is going to be fine at the end.
Interesting. Yeah, and I know that you work for quite a few of the contractors in the area, Jim. I'm assuming that when there's a contractor involved, there may be that portion or that project may be a little bit easier for you, just because you have somebody that's overseeing other things that may come up that don't pertain to your particular trade.
Well, and that's a true statement, Brandon. When we work with contractors, and you know this from your side, and any building contractor out there will know this, as well as any customer of yourself or any other building contractor, that the contractor steps in and takes care of the whole package. They gather all the information from them, and they put it together, and they get it out to the plumbers. They get it out to the heating contractor. They get it out to us, the electricians. And from there, we all do our part in the project to make sure that everything is done the way the customer wants it to. So we rely on that contractor to feed us information, and then we take the information that they give us and we take it one step farther. We actually get into our clients and find out, exactly what they're looking for. They have an idea on the surface of what they want, but they don't understand all the options that are available to them until they talk to us, the professional in our field.
Right. And that's probably the best way to summarize it. Even from my experience, Jim, like I know that I've had the opportunity to tell people, do you want under cabinet lighting as an example? So in a kitchen.
Correct.
Yeah. And yes, there's under cabinet lighting. Now, under cabinet lighting to me is under cabinet lighting, just as it is to the customer. To you, on the other hand, there are multiple different applications to under cabinet lighting, which allows you the opportunity to explain that to them and tell them the ups and downs or whatever.
Absolutely. And in future shows, we're going to talk about the specifics of under cabinet lighting. But just to feed on that, Brandon, something as simple as under cabinet lighting, somebody says, yeah, I want it. Okay, what do you want? Do you want it as task lighting? Do you want it as ambiance lighting? Do you want it to be colorful? Do you want it to be plain? There's so many different things that we have to find out from our clients of what they expect out of that lighting situation. So we sit down and we talk to them. We figure it out. We give them suggestions. And from there, we get them exactly what they want.
Okay, interesting. So, Jim, I'm going to throw you for a loop. You did not know I was going to ask you this question today, but what would you say that is the biggest challenge of your job? And we'll stick to residential construction or residential electricity. What would you say is the biggest challenge of your job today as opposed to 15, 20 years ago?
Well, there's a few different challenges. Number one, we should never say that the client is a challenge, okay? But because of all the options that have become available to us, all right? Something as simple as a light bulb is no longer a light bulb, all right? We have incandescent, we have fluorescent, we have LED, we have variations of both, all right? So when you're talking to a customer, you want to make sure that they understand what all the options are, okay?
Yeah.
So that becomes a challenge. And like I say, the client is not the challenge.
Right.
The challenge is all the things that are available to that client that we can offer them.
Exactly.
The other thing that becomes a challenge for us is the fact that our electrical code is in a continual state of evolution, all right? Things that we considered doing 15 years ago are no longer acceptable by the National Electrical Code, okay, or state codes. So you're continually updating your information and your background of codes and area ordinances as well.
Okay, interesting. So, Jim, you bring up a great point. I remember you and I having a customer not too long ago that had wanted LED lighting. We put the LED lighting in, and they did not like the hue or the color of that lighting.
Correct.
Well, unbeknownst to me, you have multiple different colors of LED lighting that are available to you. So you were explaining that to our customer. I remember going through that whole process. So that's interesting in and of itself. As you said, there's just so many different options out there.
And it's true. And, something as simple as LED lighting, which is no longer in its infancy, okay? It is becoming probably one of the strongholds of the lighting market now. In fact, it is a stronghold of the market. We've seen the prices come down on it. There's just so much variation. If somebody says, well, I have LED lights in my house, that's great. Ask them what color they are. They're going to say, well, they're white. But there's actually on the market 5 different colors of white LED lights.
Yes.
5 different colors of white. Can't be. Mm-hmm. If you want black, you get black. Mm-hmm. Well, if you want white light, you get 5 different choices. Yeah.
Yeah. And to go back to summarize, I think one of the things that I find with all of my trade partners that I work with, including ourselves and other contractors in the lakeshore or around the country, period, is you had stated the customer is certainly not the problem. The problem is the multiple opportunities that they have. And the interesting thing that I find is oftentimes the customer, because it means so much to them, they have researched a particular product and it's their house, it's their money, their investment. They know more about some of these products than I do. And because of the fact of the internet. I mean, the internet allows them all of that knowledge and base. And for me to study each and every one of those projects, there's not enough time, or products, there's not enough time in the day.
No, and it's true. And the internet has made it both easier and more difficult for us because now we have clients that are truly educated when they come into a project. Okay, they have a general and sometimes a very good understanding of the products that they want to deal with. All right, from our standpoint, it's to take the knowledge that they've gotten and take it one step farther to make sure that they're getting the product that they really want.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're going to take a break here. We're going to come back with Jim Check from Check Electric. And remodeling project called Bartow Builders of Manitowoc. Bartow Builders has been operating in Manitowoc and Sheboygan counties for 16 years, providing services in design, project management, production, and general contracting. As you think about those building and remodeling projects for 2016, call me, Brandon Bartow, at Bartow Builders for that professional guidance you deserve. For more ideas and information, I invite you to check us out on Facebook and visit our website at bartowbuilders.com.
Did you know that at Prestige Custom Cabinetry in Millwork, we offer a wide variety of quality cabinets that will enhance the beauty of your home for years to come? Let our personalized designers work with you to create the space you've always dreamed of. Family owned and operated, Prestige Custom Cabinetry is a full-service custom cabinet company. To experience our distinctive quality, we invite you to stop into our showroom on Packerland Drive in Green Bay or visit prestigecabinetry.com for more information.
Lakeland Landscape has been serving the Lakeshore community since 1973. During those 40-plus years, we have had the opportunity to meet new people and develop friendships that are very important to us. If you have landscaping in mind for 2016, now is the time to start planning. From initial concepts all the way through implementation, we can guide you through the entire process. We offer free design services that will guarantee that you end up with the right plants and materials for your particular landscaping needs. Please call Lakeland Landscape at 682-5707 or go to lakelandlandscape.com for more information.
Do you keep an idea file full of printouts and clippings of things you'd want in your dream home, but aren't sure how to get started? Hi, this is Paul Brown from Brown Building Center. Bring us your sketches, photos, whatever you have, and watch it come to life with the help of our experienced designers and the latest CAD software. Come see us today. We'll help you create one really great house, perfect for you, your family, and your budget.
Build it, fix it, do it now. In Manitowoc, Brown Building Center.
Furnace on the fritz? Whether it's a quick fix or time for something new, you need a dealer who knows what it takes to warm things up. And a Bryant dealer does whatever it takes. It takes attention to detail, the right tools, and friendly, knowledgeable service. Bottom line, it takes a Bryant dealer to bring the heat.
It takes Smoky Bar Beer Heating Incorporated. Call 920-682-2073 or find us online at smokybarbeerheating.com.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And now, let's get back to Welcome Home here on 1240 Radio WOMT.
Welcome back to our show, Welcome Home. And my guest here today is Jim Check from Check Electric. Jim, off the air, we were talking about some of the projects that you and I have been involved in. And what I would like to make sure that we reach out to our listening audience today about and educate them about is when we come into an existing home to remodel a project, oftentimes there's a very relative importance to making sure that we look at the system as a whole. So I don't know how many times you and I have came into a project and the customer wants to add a couple outlets and maybe has to have something that can handle a larger capacity, such as a freezer or a refrigerator or a microwave. And we start to look around and find out that the service either isn't adequate or maybe possibly is not up to code or functioning properly. And so those are costs and oftentimes thoughts that the customer had no anticipation or no readiness for when they were talking about doing a remodel project. So we unfortunately have to break that news to them. So I guess I would just like you to talk today about some of those different intricacies and then also just the electrical system in the house as a whole.
Okay, well, you brought up a good point. Remodeling is it's somewhat of a beast within itself, and you understand all the things that go on in a remodel project. But from our standpoint, when we go into a remodel project, we all have to understand that we're dealing with an existing house, okay? And most often, those homes are probably greater than 30 years old, okay? So what we have is we have older, I'm not going to say antiquated, but I'm going to say older electrical systems, all right? So from our standpoint, as an electrical contractor, when we come in, we want to understand the year that it was actually built, understand what the wiring system is, okay? Let's say we go back 45 years, okay? There were a lot of electrical systems prior to that had no grounding means at all within the wiring system, okay? So if we're going to walk into a house that's 45 or 50 years old, the first thing that we key on is, okay, the existing wiring does not have a grounding system, all right? So now we can't develop off of that existing system, okay? And even some of the current codes nowadays don't allow us to do that, even if it had a ground system. And we'll talk about that at maybe a later show or something. But, we have to look at that and understand that we can't develop off of that anything that we do going forward is going to be a new wiring installation, all right? So that means that we're going to be running power circuits back to the power panel. We're going to be developing a new wiring system within the walls, so on and so forth, okay? And within that comes a couple of things. If we're developing new wiring system in the walls, a couple of things that we have to consider is, are we going to have avenue and access to actually route our wires through the existing walls, or do we have to open walls, okay? Customers like to know that,
yes,
all right?
Exactly.
They need to know if they're going to need a drywall contractor in there or even a building contractor or what it may be to install a simple outlet, all right? Most times, through the magic that we've developed, we can, I call it magic, but it sometimes it is. We're able to fish wires around without causing surface damage.
You guys do a great job, yeah.
Thank you, and we pride ourselves in that. And then we look at, okay, so we can get the box where they want it. We can install that receptacle. Now we go to the service, okay? And we look at their electrical service. Now, if the house is built within the last 20 years, there's a very good chance that they have adequate room in the power panel because it would be a newer circuit breaker type panel, okay? They would have adequate room to add a circuit breaker, okay? If that house is older than 20 years, there's probably a better chance than not that there's not going to be available space. So now we have to look at the wiring system as a whole once again and say, okay, we have a 100 amp service panel here, all right? We're completely out of breakers, okay? We cannot install another circuit breaker into your service. What do we do, okay? Do we put a little panel alongside, what we call a sub panel, and feed that and take our new circuit into that panel? Or do we be honest with the customer and say, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I think it's time that we look at your electrical service and upgrade this, okay? You've got old equipment, all right? Circuit breakers last a long time, but they don't last forever,
right?
All right. There's technology change within breakers, okay? So we look at the age of the equipment, and we try and make a decision along with the customer if it's time to upgrade that service. So let's say they have a 100 amp service in there, and they only have, and to be honest with you, Brandon, in the 70s, middle 70s, electrical contractors were putting 100 amp services with 12 or 16 available breaker spots, okay? That won't even cover a quarter of a new home these days because of the number of circuits that we develop in a home. Typically nowadays, we put in, a 42 circuit panel, and sometimes that's not enough.
Right.
Okay. And we're not talking a massive home. We're talking, a 2,500 square foot home. 42 circuits doesn't cover it. So we look at that with the customer, and we try and make an intelligent decision based on their needs and looking forward whether they want to upgrade that service to a 200 amp. Okay. If they had 100, sometimes taking out that 20 circuit panel and putting in a 30 circuit 100 amp panel is enough. Okay.
So Jim, at this point, do you have to get the electrical provider involved then? So would that be like whether it's MPU locally or Wisconsin Public Service?
They play a piece in this, yes.
Okay.
If we're to upgrade the service, all right, most utilities will look at it as a service upgrade. We go from a 100 amp to a 200 amp, typically, okay, unless there's different situations, such as a new underground service being installed along with the upgrade. Utilities don't have a charge for that, all right?
Okay.
So the customer doesn't have to worry about that. So yes, we do work with the utility companies because they have to make final connections to the home.
Oh, interesting.
Once we install our new equipment, they make the final connection where their line meets our equipment.
Okay. All right. And so the other thing that I would have for you is oftentimes if somebody is considering that jump from the 100 amp to the 200 amp service, the reasons would be whether it's new equipment or new codes or just added details to the home or a combination of everything.
Yeah. Fortunately, the code doesn't tell us exactly what size service we have to have, okay? That's a design feature that the electrical contractor will take into consideration. They'll actually design the service to make sure that you have adequate. The upgrade itself is something that is basically considered by what you're adding to the home, okay? If we're going to add one receptacle and you have a 100 amp panel and we don't have enough breaker space in it, it may be completely adequate just to put a little sub panel alongside of that panel.
Okay.
But if the customer says, yeah, we're going to add that outlet today, but in spring we're going to put the addition on, we're going to have a hot tub out there, okay, and we're going to have in-floor heat, and we're going to have these other things, that sends up the flag right away. And I look at the customer and say, okay, it's time we consider changing this thing and upgrading to a 200 amp, because you're going to increase the load of your home to a point where we can justify going from a 100 to a 200 amp service.
Okay.
And it will ultimately save them money later on, rather than trying to keep on piecemealing this service that they have now, which is almost inadequate for their home, and keep adding to it.
Sure. Okay, great. Jim, when we come back from our break here, I want you to talk a little bit about breakers and the different breakering systems that go into a home. So we'll be right back. When it comes to your next building and remodeling project, call Bartow Builders of Manitowoc. Bartow Builders has been operating in Manitowoc and Sheboygan counties for 16 years, providing services in design, project management, production, and general contracting. As you think about those building and remodeling projects for 2016, call me, Brandon Bartow, at Bartow Builders for that professional guidance you deserve. For more ideas and information, I invite you to check us out on Facebook and visit our website at bartowbuilders.com.
For all your plumbing needs, turn to the people you can trust for getting the job done right. Maritime Plumbing of Manitowoc. Maritime Plumbing is dedicated to superior customer service and competitive prices that you can depend on. They have a variety of tankless and traditional water heaters. They can even do custom kitchen and bathroom remodels. And yes, if you've sprung a leak, they still fix leaky pipes too. Give Maritime Plumbing a call today. You'll be glad you did. 920-682-8794. Maritime Plumbing. We won't drain your checkbook.
As a full-service electrical contractor, Czech Electric is the premier electrical contractor for all your industrial, commercial, and residential wiring projects. Part of the Lakeshore for over 35 years, Czech Electric has the advanced resources to provide your home with the electrical system designed for your lifestyle. For complete plan design to the smallest service call, you can rely on Czech Electric for quality work and precise installations. Let Czech Electric bring innovation and value to your electrical project. Call Czech Electric for all your electrical needs.
Czech Electric. The difference is quality.
Why settle for a queen when you can have a king? Right now, you can purchase a Sealy Optimum king-size mattress at Bitter Newman Appliance TV Furniture, but only pay for a queen. Sealy Optimum has body-hugging gel memory foam that will conform to your shape and weight and still provide deep-down support. Plus, Sealy Optimum is quite effective in removing excess heat, giving you a better, more relaxing sleep. Get your Sealy Optimum King for the price of a queen now at Bitter Newman Appliance TV Furniture, Sheboygan and Manitowoc. Bitter Newman, your home delivered.
When it comes to putting the finishing touches on your walls, call the plastering contractor with 65 years of exceptional, affordable, unmatched quality and service. Call Albert's Plastering Incorporated. One call to Albert's Plastering will get your project done, start to finish. Board hanging, and plastering. There, when you schedule them, the job completed to your satisfaction. Let the highly experienced crew at Albert's Plastering take your job start to finish, whether it's a brand new home or remodel project, service and repair work, residential or commercial. Each job is given individual attention. Call 920-825-7373 or visit us at www.albertsplastering.com. Let Albert's Plastering exceed your expectations. We look forward to working with you.
You're listening to Welcome Home, presented by Bartow Builders, here on 1240 Radio, WOMT.
Welcome back. I'm with Jim Czech from Czech Electric. Jim, continuing on with the residential electrical system in a home, could you talk a little bit about the different types of breakers? Some people have some misconceptions between the ground fault interrupters as well as arc fault.
Okay, good point. We've come under a new code, And the code now requires us in living spaces to actually use what's called an arc fault circuit breaker, okay? And that's different from what we used to know as the ground fault circuit breaker, okay? Ground faults are also in bathrooms and kitchens and so on and so forth in the form of a receptacle, okay? And the brief explanation of arc fault and ground fault is this. A ground fault, whether it's a circuit breaker or a receptacle, okay, it does not do anything for overcurrent, okay, the GFI itself. What it is it's a personal protection, okay? The ground fault receptacle actually has circuit in it that knows how much power goes out on the black wire, okay? And that same amount of power has to come back on the white wire. Otherwise, it assumes it's going someplace, and it assumes it's going through you.
Yeah,
okay?
so it trips.
That's right. So it takes the circuit out, okay, eliminating the chance of electrical shock, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You will still get a little shock, okay, but by the time you'll never get a bad enough shock to electrocute yourself off
Sure.
of a GFI, okay? Arc fault differs in the standpoint that it is actually a circuit breaker, okay? And what it does, it actually looks at, and I'm going to use electrical term here, the electrical sine wave, okay? And if it sees any jags in it, okay, it will actually disconnect power, because what it is seeing, when I say the jag, what it sees is it sees the potential that there's an arc, okay, which would be very similar to a welder, all right? And when it comes down to electrical fires, that's basically what an electrical fire is. When you hear the term electrical fire, it's caused by extension cords most often.
Okay.
Most often.
All
We have
right.
a call coming out?
Yeah, it sounds
Okay.
like we have
That's right.
a call, so we're going to take a quick question here. Hello and welcome to our show. Welcome home. You have a question for our guest, Jim Check?
Yes, I do. I have a flag that I fly every day, and I don't know how many years ago I put a light shining on it at night.
Okay.
And it's supposed to go on at dark and go off in the morning. And then all of a sudden here about, 2-3 months ago, it decided to go on during the day and go off at night.
Okay.
What can I do about it? Is there something? I just get a new whatever the heck you call that thing.
The sensor?
But,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
I'll hang up and I'll listen to what he has to say.
Great. Thank you very much for the call. Jim, you want to go ahead and answer that?
Sure. Most likely what's happened is there's a photo sensor there, and the photo sensor has probably gone bad. If it's actually part of the light fixture, it may be a replaceable part, but typically what you may want to do is maybe look for a new fixture, or give us a call, and we could be happy to stop by and take a look at it for you.
Yeah, that's something you guys could definitely swing out there and take a look at
Certainly.
and work out for him. So, Jim, I want to thank you for being on our guest today at Welcome Home. Jim, if people are trying to get a hold of you, how do they reach you?
Well, you can find us on the web at checkelectric.net, or give us a call, area code 920-682-1492.
Thank you very much, Jim. I appreciate it. Next week's guest on Welcome Home will be Maritime Plumbing. They will be discussing remodels to your bathroom, kitchen, and water piping within your existing home. Tune in every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. to Welcome Home. Thank you all for listening, and have a great day.
Today's episode of Welcome Home, presented by Bartow Builders, was brought to you by Albert's Plastering, Bitter Newman Appliance TV and Furniture, Brown Building Center, Carpets Plus of America, Citywide Insulation, Check Electric, Lakeland Landscape Service, Maritime Plumbing and Mechanical, Prestige Custom Cabinetry and Millwork, Smoky Barbier Heating, and by Bartow Builders. Tune in again next Tuesday morning at 8:30 for another episode of Welcome Home, here on 1240 Radio WOMT.
Your opinion matters. Share it weekdays on Open Mic, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on 1240 Radio WOMT, Manitowoc, Two Rivers.
And it'll be windy and looking at 3 to 4 inches of snow today with highs in the middle 30s. It's 34 degrees at 9 o'clock.
CBS News, I'm Frank Sedapani. The next test for the presidential hopefuls is New Hampshire, where the first real election of the 2016